This class is brought to you by the LA Care and Blue Shield Promise Community Resource Centers. The centers are a place to help you be active, healthy, and informed. We hope you enjoy this virtual class.
Hello, my name is Leslie, and today's class, Eating Healthier on a Budget, we will talk about different tips to help you eat healthier. We will also talk about meal planning steps that you can take, as well as some tips to help you save more money when you shop at the grocery store. Stay with us as we also talk about different changes that you can make to your meals, especially those fast food meals, to help them become a little bit more healthier. Thank you for joining us.
After today's class, you will be able to know the difference between nutrient-dense and caloric-dense foods, understand the steps for meal planning, name 3 different ways you can save at the grocery store, you will know how to store food correctly, and understand how fast food can fit in your diet. Before I dive in a little bit more into today's presentation, let's take a moment to think about why we need to eat healthy. Why does eating healthy matter? And why is it important to you? Everything you eat and drink over time matters. What we eat affects how we feel today, tomorrow, and in the future. We all have a relationship with food, but having a healthy and positive relationship is important. Healthy eating allows the body to maintain a healthy weight, and a poor diet is linked to major health risks that can cause diseases such as high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or even make those conditions worse, even if you have a healthy weight. So healthy eating promotes good physical health, but it also helps promote mental health as well. Healthy eating can improve the way your brain functions and helps improve your mood. Every time we set our minds to do something different, we get excited. But it's also important to make sure that we combine that excitement with small, realistic changes. These changes do not need to happen overnight or happen every day. But you can try to do these changes 2 to 3 times a week to start, and then do it more often until you don't have to think about it. Focus on adding fruits and vegetables whenever possible, or to replace the not so healthy options on your plate. Find high fiber whole grain foods by reading the nutrition facts label. You should see the word whole at the beginning of the ingredients list. For example, whole oats, whole wheat flour, whole grain corn, whole grain brown rice, and more. Foods that say multigrain or 100% wheat or high fiber may not be a whole grain product. Move to low-fat and fat-free dairy options, like fat-free milk and yogurt and low-fat cheese. Regular cream cheese, butter, and cream are not in the dairy food group because they have little to no calcium and are really high in saturated fat. Don't forget to mix up your protein to include seafood, beans, nuts, seeds, eggs, and lean meats whenever possible. You don't always have to have meat each day. And you can also try to include seafood twice a week whenever possible, such as grilled fish or even canned tuna in water. And don't forget to reduce your intake of saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars. We can put food into 2 different categories: food that is nutrient dense and foods that are caloric dense, or foods that have empty calories. Nutrient-dense foods have more nutrients and less calories, while caloric-dense foods tend to have less nutrients and a lot more calories. Nutrient-dense foods are low in fat, sugar, and salt, while caloric foods are higher in fat, sugar, and salt. These nutrient-dense foods, you guessed it, have a higher amount of vitamins, minerals, and fiber, while it's the complete opposite for caloric foods that have low amounts of nutrients. Nutrient-dense foods are typically found in nature, such as a tree, they come from a bush, or come from the ground, while caloric-dense foods are also the opposite and typically packaged. They can be frozen, canned, or boxed. It is important to note that not all frozen, canned, or boxed foods are unhealthy. And as we go through today's presentation, you will see that there are ways in which these types of foods can fit into your diet. Often, your body will send those hunger signals because it's craving that nutrition. So filling up with caloric-dense foods is not going to nourish your body, and then what the body will do is continue to send those hunger signals to let you know that it needs nutritious foods. We just learned about the difference between nutrient-dense and caloric-dense foods, but we can also think about our food by identifying whether it's a whole food or whether it's a processed food. Whole foods contain many nutrients, while processed foods have nutrients that have been removed. Whole foods are found in its natural form, while processed foods contain preservatives, chemicals, colors, flavors that is not naturally found in the food. Whole foods contain complex carbohydrates, and they are called complex because it takes the body a longer time to digest, so they are a more stable source of energy. Processed foods, on the other hand, tend to have more simple carbohydrates, and these are digested very quickly. Whole foods have a high amount of fiber, while processed tend to have lower amounts of fiber. And fiber helps clean your colon like a scrub brush and helps remove bacteria and keeps your blood sugar levels from going up too fast as well. Whole foods tend to have natural sugars, while processed foods have those processed sugars. Whole foods contain simple ingredients, while processed foods have many ingredients. And whole foods contain ingredients that you can find in your kitchen. Processed foods often have ingredients that you cannot pronounce. Generally, if you look at the ingredient list, the longer the list, the more the processed the food is. You may have heard that eating healthy is expensive, or maybe you have thought that yourself. Eating healthy does not have to mean spending a lot of money, but how you buy, prepare, and put in with your food can help you not only eat better, but also stay within your budget. Meal planning. It can help save a lot of money and can help you be more prepared when shopping. We all make decisions about the meals we will eat, whether it's planning for the next meal or the meals throughout the day, or whether it's deciding whether you will go out to eat or prepare foods at home. While some people plan out their meals for an entire week, that is amazing. You can start small. Make it a goal to cook once or twice a week and have leftovers to last you a few days. It can be very overwhelming to plan for several meals throughout the day, so here are a couple tips to help you get started on meal planning. First, write down the meals for the week that you would like to prepare for. Consider the amount of time needed to prepare these meals. Does your plan involve many meals that require many steps, or using the things like the oven several times a week? You may want to spread out those types of meals so that you have a mix of those quick meals like soups or sandwiches with those meals that take a longer time to prepare. It's okay to focus on one meal and select ingredients that you can use for several meals. If you choose recipes where meals will need many ingredients that you don't have, the cost can add up, especially if you won't use those ingredients again. Make a grocery list with the ingredients that you need. And use the plate method to help list those ingredients. Don't forget to check your pantry and refrigerator for foods that you already have. And keep it simple. Use the plate method to help you plan healthy meals by choosing a lean protein, vegetables, and healthy grains. And stick to your grocery list. This helps you limit impulse shopping. It's okay to save room in your grocery list for those unhealthy snacks here and there, but it's important that you limit the amount. If you normally get ice cream, chips, and cookies, stick to one item. Remember, if you bring it home, you will eat it. This also helps avoid multiple trips to the store, which also means more money. And don't forget to be flexible. If you had zucchini on the list, but you eat broccoli and it happens to be on sale that week, it's okay to make the switch, especially if the item is on your list and it's maybe not available. Try to have at least 3 food groups at your meals. Prepare a larger batch of your meals. If you don't eat leftovers, then make sure that you prepare less food. You don't have to prepare extras of everything on your plate. You can prepare a large batch of a healthy side, such as rice or vegetables, especially if those are foods that you will eat several times throughout the week, so that you don't have to cook those foods each day. Rice and other grains, for example, store really well, so cooking more can definitely save you time, but it also depends on what you prefer. Some people still prefer cooking their meat like their chicken every day, but then they add those other foods that they prepared earlier in the week. When it comes to storage, store your foods in containers that you can use throughout the week. If you will not be eating the food in the next 3 to 5 days, you can freeze it in individual containers or freezer bags that you can use whenever you're ready. And make sure you actually eat your leftovers. Use your leftovers to even create other meals, and leftovers can be good for 3 to 5 days. Here are some quick and easy ideas for using 3 to 4 ingredients to prepare breakfast and dinner meals. In the first example under breakfast, we chose a whole grain food item. We chose an egg for protein, as well as an orange for our fruit choice. Example number 2 for breakfast does the same thing by using the same food groups, but to help include a little bit of variety, we just switched it up. For example, for the protein, instead of an egg, we chose peanut butter, and instead of an orange for our fruit, we chose a banana. We did the same for dinner. Notice how chicken and beans are the major proteins for these examples. You don't have to follow the same ones, but just to get an idea of how you can use the same ingredients and include different sides or add a couple of food groups to help make sure that the food is more complete. Less food on your plate does not mean that you have less calories. The quality of the food and looking at how it is prepared is also very important. Let's take a look at the first plate. In this example, we have chicken, half a breast to be exact, and that is fried. We have macaroni and cheese made with whole milk, butter, and full-fat cheese. And we also have a serving of baked beans. Let's make this a little fun. Take a moment to guess how many calories this meal has, or how many grams of fat it has. Do you think this meal has any fiber? Now, as you are thinking about it, I'll give you a couple seconds. And now let's reveal the answer. The total for this meal is 607 calories, 24 grams of fat, and 6.5 grams of fiber. Now, let's take a look at the second plate on the right below. That includes 1 entire roasted chicken breast, a baked sweet potato, 1 cup of broccoli, and 3 slices of tomatoes. Now, take a moment to guess how many calories that might have, any fat or any fiber. And you probably guessed it. The total for this meal is definitely less calories than the first meal, at 293 calories. That's almost half of the calories as the first meal, with a lot more food. 4 grams of fat, 20 grams of fat less than the first meal, and more fiber with 8 grams of fiber total. You can see how filling up your plate with fruits and vegetables and healthier options like the plate method can really help bring down a lot of the calories as well as a lot of the fat while still helping you feel fuller. Small changes can add up to a lot of savings. Let's take a look at a couple of nutrition practices that you might want to consider changing if you do practice these. For example, if you spend $3 a day on junk food, if you change that, you can be looking at a savings of $21 a week or over $1,000 within a year. If you eat out 2 meals each day, changing that could mean savings of $15 each week or even a savings of almost $800 in a year. Purchasing a $2 sweetened drink 2 times a week can save you $4 or starts adding up to $200 within a year. It's important that you know how to navigate the store. Many of these processed foods and those caloric-dense foods are located in the middle aisles of the store, while the more natural and unprocessed foods like fruits and vegetables and milk are located along the walls of the store. The way in which local grocery stores arrange their products is really no mistake. Foods at the cash register are meant to tempt us, and products are placed very carefully to get our attention. Colorful foods and drinks are placed where children can see them. Eating healthy does not mean that you have to spend more money. Here are a few tips to help you be a savvy grocery shopper. Eat before you shop. Shopping hungry can lead to impulse buying, especially of unhealthy food choices. If you are hungry, your body is going to want food and fast. Look up and down the shelves for savings. Stores are often stocked with their priciest items where you can see them, and you can save by looking higher and lower on the shelves too. Make sure to check for store brands. Store brands often cost less than the name brands but contain the same ingredients and often taste the same. Or try joining your store's loyalty program. Some stores have discounts when you buy more than one item at once. Also, buying bigger or in bulk can be cheaper because the unit price is lower. Also, shop on days at stores set aside for savings. Sometimes, some stores have days where their meat or proteins on sale, or other days where their fruits and vegetables are on sale. Farmers markets and farm stands can be great options for picking up fresh produce at a discount. They are often cheaper because there's no middle person. It's you purchasing directly from the farmer. Here are some tips to help you stretch your dollars. Use coupons. Remember, it's only a savings when you use coupons for foods and drinks that you actually already use. And remember that you are paying for convenience. Convenience food items, of course, are convenient, but you do pay for the extra wrapping, the containers, and for things being pre-cut. Consider things like grating your own cheese, avoiding instant foods like rice and oatmeal, and avoiding pre-cut vegetables. I do want to point out that these items can be helpful to many people for different reasons, but if you have the opportunity to make some changes or to get the family involved, you might want to consider some of those tips. Also, make sure to look at unit prices on the shelf right below the product. You can see an example here that the unit price is 9.8 cents per ounce. Look at different sizes. Looking at a toasted oat cereal, the regular size is equal to 27.4 cents per ounce, but the family size that is a little bit bigger ends up costing you less at 20.2 cents per ounce. Also, compare different brands. The same amount of white rice, 20 pounds, the leading brand costs 32.3 cents per ounce, while the store brand costs 26.6 cents per ounce. You can also buy in bulk, such as proteins like your meat and your frozen vegetables. You can save money, especially if you have the space in your refrigerator. If you end up throwing food away, you could be buying too much, or maybe you could not be planning. Do not throw away your money. Look at the expiration date of your foods. Labels with dates like best by, sell by, and use by are just the company's best guess about how long their food will taste the freshest, but they are just that, a guess. If you see the words best if used by or before, this guarantees when the product is of the best quality or flavor, and it is not about safety. When you see words such as sell by, this is a date set by the companies to tell stores when to remove a product from the shelves. The goal is to make sure that consumers have products at their best quality, which can be several days to several weeks, depending on the food item. Things like milk, assuming it's properly refrigerated, could last 5 to 7 days past its sell-by date before turning sour. Words like use by. This is the last date that guarantees the best quality of a product. It is not about safety. Many times, perfectly good food gets thrown away due to the confusion with these dates that some people think are expiration dates. So before you throw it away, make sure that you're still staying safe. Non-perishable foods like grains that are dried and canned foods can still be used well past their label dates. When it comes to meat and dairy, spoiled food will usually look different in texture, color, and smell unpleasant, and taste bad before it becomes unsafe to eat. Look at the expiration dates of foods to help guide you in how soon the product needs to be used and when you should consider buying another. Proper food handling and food storage can help prevent your food from going bad so that you are not throwing away your money and also help keep you safe. When it comes to food handling, it's important that you wash your hands often. Avoid cross-contamination of raw meat and other grocery items by separating those raw foods like meat from ready-to-eat foods like deli meat, cheese, and fruit. Keep all of the food preparation surfaces clean. I usually keep one cutting board when I use the raw meat, and I keep another cutting board when I use fruits and vegetables. Make sure that you're storing your food correctly, as this can help make sure that your food is staying fresher for longer. Throwing away your food means that you are throwing away your money. So keep foods covered. Store refrigerated foods in covered airtight containers or in sealed storage bags. Freezer storage bags are useful when freezing foods. Oftentimes, things can accidentally spill, and keeping them covered can help make sure that germs and bacteria from things that are spilling can help make sure that we are avoiding cross-contamination. Make sure you throw out a perishable item or leftovers that are left after 2 hours when sitting at room temperature. Bacteria are always growing, and leaving out food for longer than 2 hours can cause you to get sick. And do not fill the refrigerator or freezer so tightly that the air can't circulate. If the air can't circulate, then it's not doing a good job of making sure that it's keeping your food stored safely. And check your freezer and refrigerator temperatures often. Organize your fridge. Out of sight means out of mind. And clean and disinfect your fridge regularly, especially to clean up after those spilled items, especially the ones that come from meat that can cause bacteria to spread. And freeze your foods. Is your fruit starting to get soft? You can freeze it to use it later. They make great smoothies, and you can get the family involved by looking for recipes with those foods that you need to use up. Here are some examples of fruits that freeze well. That includes fruit such as bananas, berries, oranges, pineapples, and grapes, or even vegetables such as corn, peas, broccoli, carrots, green beans, and squash. In general, foods that have a lower amount of water will freeze better. For example, bell peppers contain a lot of water, so they do not freeze well. Other foods that don't freeze well include cooked pasta, cucumbers, and eggs. If you do have some unused fruit or vegetables in the fridge or laying on your counter, you can freeze them before they spoil to make sure that you can stretch your dollars. Summer is here, and that means looking for summer produce. Look for apples, apricots, bananas, berries, cantaloupe, cherries, and watermelon. Also look for vegetables that are in season, which include beets, bell peppers, carrots, celery, corn, cucumbers, eggplant, garlic, green beans, lima beans, and summer squash. Buying seasonal produce means that the produce will taste at its best at the time of the year and will cost you less money. You'll find savings on these foods at the grocery store and at your local farmer's market. Look for these foods that are cheaper and available throughout the whole year. Apples, bananas, beans, carrots, a variety of greens, as well as potatoes. Let's take a moment to talk about canned and frozen produce. Is fresh produce better than canned and frozen produce? The answer is no. Canned and frozen options can also help support a healthy diet. Fresh does not mean more nutrients. Canned and frozen foods can be cheaper and can be just as nutritious as fresh and often cost less. You can add them to your meals to help save money. For example, corn ears can be more expensive, but you can get more by using canned corn for less. Look for frozen vegetables and fruits with no sauces or oils added. If you are using canned fruit, make sure that you get it in 100% fruit juice. Also, look for canned vegetables that are labeled low sodium or no salt added. Frozen fruits and vegetables without added oils and butters or sweeteners are frozen when they're most ripe, which means that they have the maximum amount of vitamins and minerals. They're often cheaper than fresh and can be stored longer. So these products can make it easy to add fruits to any meal as well as vegetables to any meal. You can consider adding frozen fruit in your oatmeal, maybe frozen broccoli to mac and cheese, and more. When you're shopping, look for whole grain options listed in the ingredients list first. Consider also switching to whole wheat options. Whole wheat versus whole grain are both good choices. However, the word whole is important to look for on the ingredient labels. It means that the bread or the grain product is made from the entire whole wheat kernel. If it's whole grain, it means that the bread can be made out of the whole grain kernel. If you don't see the word whole on the package, it means that the bread might not be made from the entire kernel and might not have as much fiber. Grains are great budget-friendly items and include pasta, rice, popcorn, plain oatmeal such as rolled oats, and even quick oats. Buying grains in bulk will save you a lot of money. For example, instant oatmeal that comes in individual sized packets, it's much more expensive per serving than the plain rolled oats that you can buy in bulk. Instant oatmeal also has a lot of added sugar. Pasta and rice. If you can't bring yourself or your kids to make the full switch to whole grain, try maybe half and half, while using half of the regular pasta or half of the whole wheat. If you still prefer instant oatmeal, consider adding things like berries, bananas, or peanut butter to make it a more filling and digestible food. Whole grain crackers are also small and easy and are not expensive. Popping your own popcorn, such as buying the whole kernels and cooking them over the stovetop with a little bit of oil, saves you not only money, and it's fun for the kids, and also helps save you calories. So take a walk with me. Pretend that you're walking into your favorite grocery store and you're looking at some protein options within your store. You have plant protein, which is very low cost and very high in fiber. Things like beans, peas, split peas, lentils, and peanut butter. On the other hand, you also have your animal-based protein, and they do have some budget-friendly options. Try having family-sized or value-packed meats, such as pork loin, ground turkey, flat steaks, and whole chicken, seafood such as canned tuna, salmon, or sardines, eggs, which are low cost and easy to prepare, and make sure that you are looking at the price per pound. Don't forget to freeze what you don't use. And take a look at your cart. Are you having more animal protein, or can you use a little bit more of the plant protein? If you can, try to explore a couple of options, or even make it a point for you and your family to look for recipes that include more of these plant proteins that are a lot easier on your wallet. Now, let's continue on that walk and look for the dairy at the grocery store. Fat-free and low-fat milk have just as much calcium as those higher-fat milks. When you compare the store brand versus the name brand milk, you'll notice that they also have the same amount of calcium and nutrients. Buying larger sizes of low-fat plain yogurt instead of individual-sized flavored yogurt can also help you cut the cost. Then top with your own toppings and flavors. Last but not least, let's take a walk through the snack aisle, that forbidden aisle. Try skipping the chip, cookie, and junk food aisles altogether. But if you must, try buying only one junk food option instead of many. Remember, if you bring it home, you will eat it. Try to package your own snacks. It also helps save some money. For comparison, if we're buying a family pack of chocolate cookies, it costs us a little over $3 for about 45 cookies. If we pre-package them for 2 cookies, which gives us about 100 calories, it will cost us about 16 cents. However, if we look at the 100-calorie packs that are already packaged for us, it costs a little over $5 for 6 packs, and it totals of 87 cents per pack, much higher than the 16 cents for the same amount of calories. Looking at a much healthier snack, if we buy the family size bag of pretzels, we're looking at $2.83 on average for a package, which gives us about 15 servings, and it's 19 cents per serving, also equaling 100 calories. For the same amount of calories, if we buy the to-go packs, the whole pack includes 10 packs, but does cost about $1 more at $3.83, and it averages 38 cents per pack, much higher than the 19 cents per serving. You might even be asking yourself, well, what if I don't have time to cook? Especially on days where you have a lot of appointments or a lot of things to do. We can still be flexible. Can fast food be a part of a healthy eating plan? Absolutely yes. Even when we try our hardest to prepare meals and snacks for the week, sometimes life happens and we need a meal as soon as possible. A healthy or healthier eating plan does not mean that you cannot eat fast foods. It just requires that you pay attention to portion sizes, your sides, and toppings. You can still have your favorite treats, but consider making some small changes to start. Keep in mind how often you eat it. Remember, portion sizes are still important. And check the nutrition information whenever you can, and before if possible. Less food does not mean less calories, and we learned that in the earlier slides. And a salad does not mean it's healthier. So it's important to choose your sides wisely and pay attention to those toppings like cheese, bacon, and croutons that you can take off. The next time you eat out, try one of these changes. If you order a burger with 2 patties, try a burger with a single meat patty. If you order the fried chicken sandwich, ask for the grilled chicken sandwich. Instead of a large fry, opt for a small fry or a healthier side. If you usually have a regular sandwich bun, ask for it to be wrapped in lettuce, or ask if they have whole wheat options. Skip the mayo, skip the cheese, and the extra sauces. And if you're used to having a salad with crispy chicken, try asking for a salad with grilled chicken, or try no croutons or no cheese and extra sauces. If you usually have a side of fries or chips, ask for a side salad or a baked potato. Instead of ranch or blue cheese dressing, try balsamic or a vinegar-based dressing. They are lower in calories. Instead of a beef taco, ask for a grilled chicken or grilled fish taco. And if you have a crispy taco shell, ask for a soft flour or corn tortilla. If you have a burrito, try getting the burrito in a bowl with rice, beans, pico de gallo, and lean protein without the tortilla. Nutrition is key to our physical and our mental health, but small changes are the ones that last the longest. We do not need to be perfect, but we can save money at the grocery store while still eating healthy. Make sure you try something new this week.
Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again next week and at one of our resource centers as soon as we can. Until then, stay active, healthy, and informed.